Hey guys, what's up? It's Fado82 coming at you with some Rust building tips. Didn't have a lot of time to play Rust this week, but we did experiment with a new building strategy in which we built a small water base and we put our primary loot room underwater. It never occurred to me to do this before. I've always put building cabinets underwater, but it never had occurred to me to put loot underwater. The base was raided twice, guys. They always went for the top floors, as is typical with raiders, and our underwater loot room was never touched. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just what some of the benefits of an underwater loot room might be. It might be something that you want to incorporate into your play style. Maybe not too, but let's get into it. So our underwater loot room, guys, was the only part that we were able to make metal. You can barely see it because it's getting to be dark here. I didn't realize it was night, but I'm going to keep forging ahead nonetheless. You'll notice as soon as you step into the water, it's automatically indicating that it's too cold and our guy is wet. So that's to our disadvantage. It makes it a little more of a hassle to get to the loot room, but it's also to the disadvantage of the raiders. Now you'll notice if we go down here, there are some steps here right now. Typically those would be taken out, but they're there for the purposes of the video. So I've just gone ahead and I've opened the door to the underwater loot room. We'll go ahead and close it again, but you'll notice it is a door, which is another barrier to entry, so it's not just open by just jumping down there. Now I've lit a lantern down here to be able, so we can see what's going on down here. You'll notice I have a sleeping bag here. You can place sleeping bags underwater, guys, and you can respawn underwater. You can also use lanterns and furnaces underwater. So if you wanted to go ahead and actually cook up your ore down here and do that, you can do that as well. You'll notice here that the particular chests that I have down here are all code lock protected. If you guys didn't know, you probably do, but you can place code locks on your chests to make them even more secure. And you'll go ahead and look, and we'll notice this is one of my main loot chests from my friend and myself, and we have our guns in there, primarily our guns and ammo. I'm going to go ahead, and you'll notice I am taking a little bit of damage, so I'm just going to use that med kit and heal up really quick. So this is essentially the loot room, guys. It's underwater. You can't see the loot unless you're actually in the room, so you'd have to make your way into the room itself. Now, would a raider suspect a loot room is underwater? Perhaps. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's something that's commonly done. I've never come across one before. I'm sure I'm not the only person to think of it. But if you'll notice, guys, because the chests have the code locks on them, the only way somebody's going to be able to get into those chests is to break them apart. Now, if you're standing up here on the stairs, I can still fire the weapon. If the stairs weren't here, I wouldn't be able to do so. But if you'll notice in the water itself, which is going to be typically the case when people are in the loot room, they're not going to be able to fire the weapon. It's not firing, and they also cannot swing a melee weapon. So the only way that somebody's going to be able to get that loot is to C4 it. So by doing that, they're going to lose a majority of the loot, and it's really a crapshoot as to whether or not they want to waste C4 on that. So to make it the more difficult, when you're done with the loot room, you would go ahead and take out the steps, as I just did there, close the door, and now if somebody were to try to get into the loot room, a raider, they are going to get down here, but they're not going to be able to get back up. They can't quite make the jump there. So even if they do get down to the underwater loot room, even if they do get to the loot and get it, they're not going to be able to build their way back up. So guys, I think it's a really effective method to protecting your loot. Let me know what you think in the comments, please. I'd like to know, if you guys think this is an effective strategy or not. Also, guys, when logging off, you can actually log off in Rust by disconnecting, and you will actually be underwater, still alive when you come back on. So you can disconnect in the water, and it actually gives you an added measure of security. So guys, let me know what you think. This is Fado82. Peace.